Hello, my name is Melissa Ernst, and I'll be continuing with my group's portion of job interviews, the do's and don'ts. The first thing to remember about the don'ts is that irreversible mistakes during the interview process can determine whether or not you actually get the job just as much as the do's of our presentation can. The first don't is to remember not to feel pressured to answer any illegal questions. Illegal questions refer to anything related to your health, your marital status, your age. A potential employer cannot ask you, are you sick very often? Are you married? Are you over the age of 65? Things like that are things that cannot be asked by an employer, and things that an interviewee does not have to answer under any circumstances. The second thing to remember is not to ask your potential employer about the wage or your salary during your first initial interview. This allows you to make the impression that you're caring more about whether or not you get the job as opposed to how much money you're going to make. Remember, you want the employer to think that you're there to work, not to make substantial amounts of money. The third thing to remember is that you don't want to send signals that you're bored or uncomfortable or that you're lying to them. An employer hires a person based on what they see and what they feel during your initial interview. If you put off signals that say, I really don't feel like I should be here, or maybe I shouldn't tell the truth in that question, that's something that the potential employer is going to pick up on. And your interviewer is going to not recommend you for a job if they don't feel that they can trust you or believe any kind of thing that you say or the situation they put you in. The fourth thing, and probably the most important, is don't complain about anything related to your previous job. When you go into an interview, you want the employer to understand that you're at this interview trying to get this job. You actually care about this job. You don't want the employer to come off with the idea that you maybe don't care about this particular portion of the job because the previous job had you doing the same thing, or you don't want the employer to say that you spent most of your time saying how much you hated working for your previous boss because of his or her management style or anything in general related to that job. Do not complain. You want the employer to remember things about you that will say, yes, I want this job, yes, I am good for your company, not things that say, I may not be here very long because you may be the same as my old boss, or I'm only in it for the money, I don't care about the work. You want the employer to remember the positive things, not the negative. So always remember the do's and the don'ts.